Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
Those
guys.
What's up? How are you, Drone Shots? Albuquerque Quadcopter, Manamana. You guys are still there. It just went live in the room just now. How are you guys? How's everyone? What's up? It's Wednesday again.
Yeah.
just got your alert.
Okay.
In my ear and on screen.
So how's everybody out there feeling?
Well, I'm extra good today because I need an excuse to spend a few dollars. So I rage spend.
That's
you know what rage spending is? When you buy something when you're angry.
No. Well, that happens.
No, I got a new soldering gun with it on temperatures on it, and digital one, and it works off of the batteries.
Okay.
The XT60. So I just brought the adapter so I can plug it into the wall.
Now I gotta refresh this.
Well, when is Herman or you going to do that monitor that you bought unboxing? Is that tonight or?
Don't make me curse so early in the show. I wish.
Unboxing.
Yeah, that monitor.
No.
I like you to know, since I looked at that monitor all week, I've been getting advertisements from Amazon. Hey, check it out, 34-inch, 32-inch.
I can't do that right now, but
Good. Thanks.
It's not out of the question.
Oh. Hold on, guys. I have to run and go check the rice. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, that was a very nice monitor, and it's not out of the question. It's not something that I can actually get into right now. I have a lot of other things to take care of. What's good, Drone Shots? David, what's up? Albuquerque Quadcopter. Man.
Hey, David, how's it going, buddy?
Hello there, Tom.
We're there in Scotland.
Hello, Herman. How are you? Paul, how's everything? Good.
Another Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Another Wednesday.
That's what they called it, right? Hump day?
Yeah.
Sure is.
Middle of the road.
Best Geico commercial out, though.
What's up, Tom?
Hey, Lawrence, how are you, man?
I'm okay. Carpenter Rick. What's good?
Hey, Carpenter Rick. Now you see, it keeps. I don't know what's going on.
Desmond Donders. Click that like button early, guys.
But sometimes they're coming up on my screen here with no name. I have to keep refreshing the page, which is odd. Who knows with YouTube? So, Paul, caught any ships lately?
Actually, I did 2 today.
Okay.
Actually, it's going to be 3 videos. One was the ship itself, which was a salty going up. And then Port Huron is a place where they put pilots on and off the ships for the Great Lakes. And so I just stayed up and I did a side slide, just off of the pilot boat as the pilot climbed up the ladders and went on board.
Okay.
That'll turn out kind of nice.
Hey, Albuquerque Quadcopter says, how come the 2 older guys have more hair than the 2 younger guys?
Because they're not willing to shave theirs off.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm only 26, man. I've just ridden a hard road,
life.
that's all. Okay?
It's a hard life now.
They're trying to keep hope alive.
That's the age you stop counting, you mean?
What happens?
I just got to say, I still find hairs right around here. It's like they didn't get the memo that everybody else moved north, like.
Well, I have the Charlie Brown hair. It's just one that grows up in a curl, and my daughter used to try and pull it. Now it's 2 Charlie Brown hairs. So,
Tom, you're right. I always get that one out of my forehead that I never see until I go get a shave at the barber, and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, right. You're growing a mane.
Well,
Yeah.
that
One strand at a time.
and the idea that now your eyebrows are growing faster and the hair's growing out of your ears.
No, it's not even growing from the eyebrow. It's growing out of the forehead.
No, but
It's the middle by
Paul's
itself.
right. If we could just stave off where else it's growing.
That's right.
Okay. Look, the problem is when you have a beard or a mustache, the worst thing that I've seen, I've talked to guys and staring at them and you can't take your eyes off it, is when their nose hair starts to grow into their mustache hair. It's like, no, guys, there's a clear distinction there. You have to make a distinction. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I agree with that one.
Hold on a second. How did it grow so long that it came out?
I'm telling you, look, I've stared at guys and I've asked that same question myself. Okay?
When they breathe, don't it just wiggle?
Staring at it while staring at it, right?
Well, first off, if I have a mustache hair curl up and touch the edge of my nose, it bothers the heck out of me. And it's the one hair. It's the one hair you can never grab and get right until you're in front of a mirror. But it'll drive you crazy. So that stuff, and so why do I have a mustache? Well, I've always had a mustache, so it's not going anywhere.
What's going on, Sean?
I've always had a mustache as well.
Yeah.
I've always had a mustache. I tried going without it. And you know that little dip right here under your nose?
Yep.
Things is more pronounced than the average person. So it looks like I have two lips here and a little dimple in the middle.
Well, you've always had a mustache from when you grew it. You didn't have it when you was a baby.
True. This is true. It was genetically planned.
Yes.
JSK, how are you?
We all started trying to grow one at like 10, 11 years old, right?
You want to know what? You want to hear something funny? The first time I realized I had a mustache, you know how you're young and you come in the house, I was maybe about 13-ish, 13, almost 14. And my
being dirty.
Come in the house in a hot summer day and you it's time to eat dinner, so you can hurry up and eat dinner and go back out and play in the middle of the summer. So I came in the house, went in the bathroom, washed my face off, did my hands, everything, came out of the bathroom. My mother says, boy, go back in the bathroom and wash your face off. So I go back in the bathroom, like, what's she talking about? Wash my face off again. I go, I come back, I wash my hands again, I come back out, okay. Boy, didn't I just tell you to go wash your face off? If I tell you again, I'm gonna scrub it. I go back in the bathroom a third time. I'm like this, my skin's almost raw. All right, I go back in the kitchen, she says, come here. And we go into the bathroom, she soaps up the rag, and just as she gets ready to wash my face, she says, oh, I'm sorry, that's peach fuzz. And I was so pissed, man, because I could have ate dinner and been back outside a long time ago.
Yeah.
I used to play with my father.
Hey, drone shot.
He had the, the one, you've seen these, Tom, Paul, the ones with
clamshell razors.
You spin the bottom and it opens up.
Yeah, that's the clamshell.
Put that one single edge blade in there.
I have one today.
I have one too. My father used to shave with that all the time, and I used to play with it with no blade in it as a kid, sitting there with his shaving cream. He used to have the thing on the wall that would make the shaving cream warm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I used to play with it and put it on and play with his razor. Yeah, eventually I grew my own and then learned to hate those things.
Partly the reason for the beard, but I still shave every morning. I shave my neck. I shave right
Darryl
here.
Hickman, Michael Blade.
So, and unfortunately, starting to shave my earlobes, which is starting to get very annoying, guys. Okay, that's when you've gotten too damn old.
You want to know what?
Okay?
When you get older, hair grows in places that you never thought it could.
Nah, not that. Yeah.
It's
exactly.
the earlobe. It's not the earlobe for me. It's right here, Tom. Look right here. I have one hair that grows here, and then on this little piece right here on the inside and outside.
Yep.
But one hair goes here. My daughter's like, let me pull it. Let me pull it. All the time.
So we're gonna have to rename this show. It's gonna have to be Those Old Guys.
Yes,
okay.
There you go.
If we continue along the same topic here for much longer, and I think people have come here to hear other stuff. But
welcome,
that's only
Philip. How are you? from Philip
Look.
from Alabama. Welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys.
Welcome.
Hit that thumbs up button, guys.
Yes,
Hey,
please.
look, I do have something I'd like to address.
Okay.
Yes,
and
it's still
maybe
early. Go ahead.
kick off with it is the fact that I'm a little bit dismayed, and guys, I don't want to come off sounding like the drone police, and
Hold on.
I'm not.
The views
I'm
and
not.
opinions that are heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. So if you hear Tom curse, he's got to be pissed about it.
Right. And
I've never heard him curse.
if you have an ounce of common sense, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'll start the conversation that way.
Go for it.
I've seen a lot of postings over the last 24 hours of a local event that happened here. It was a second alarm fire in Calvert Vaux, right alongside Calvert Vaux Park. And
Yes.
I have to say, I'm not going to name names or anything like that. I'm just going to have to say, hey, I'm dismayed and disappointed in some people. It's not the right thing to do, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. During a public safety incident like this is a fire. Okay. In our local area here in New York City, our local fire protection service, our local EMS service, our local rescue service, the FDNY, the New York City East Bravest, use drones regularly. I mean, multi-alarm fires. That team gets called out. The command tactical unit gets called out to be in the sky for those events. And when you launch your drones in close proximity, and you can say, hey, I was a quarter mile away. No, the FAA
try
defines
and get a shot. You're still
to try to get a shot. I got to get a shot of that. Look, here's the problem that I have with this. Okay. And this is what people have to understand. This is not, hey, I want to get a better shot than the next guy. The reason why the fire department put up the drone in the first place is because we have people at risk, we have members at risk, and we have property at risk.
Right.
Okay. And the reason why we put up this technology is because of risk assessments and understanding that we can potentially mitigate those risks to some degree by having those eyes in the sky. And when you put up your drones in the same space as us, we're forced to land ours. That means our risk goes up incredibly.
Because you don't know their intent.
Right. Well, first off, no, we can't. And we can't play that game at that point because we could negatively impact the operation underway, right? And what we don't want to do is make the disaster situation we're dealing with, the emergency situation, any worse than it is already. So, you know, by putting up your drone and trying to get that money shot, guys, please do us a favor. Okay, go fly a few miles away. You guys love your distance. Fly a few miles away and grab a shot.
When I heard, Tom, that there was a fire in that park, I told my wife, because they were showing it live. I said, hey, babe, we fly in that park quite often. Yeah. There's an AMA field there. I hope nobody's hurt or whatever. And then hours later, the same picture that you're talking about was produced on many social media pages. And people were applauding and going, nice. Eddie Nunez, what's good? Welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys.
Hey, Eddie, how are you, bro?
They were applauding this guy for this picture he caught.
Thanks, Eddie.
Firefighters in action. And I have to agree with you 2,000%, Tom. If
finish, Lauren.
If you're going to fly your drone to try and get that one shot, that's not cool, because then you're hindering the work of the firemen that are supposed to be doing their job.
Well, think about it. Okay, I'll give you some real world examples here, right? So, you know, we're using product in the public safety sector, right? Like any other industry sector is using. So on the public safety side, they're using thermal imaging, and it allows them to see what's going on as quickly as they can and pinpoint the hot spots and get to those hot spots. But more importantly, what you're not thinking about is, say you have public first responders operating in those areas. You want to be able to keep eyes on them. You want to be able to monitor their safety and their proximity to danger.
Yes.
Okay. Because one wrong step, okay, somebody can get injured or worse. Okay. And
Yeah.
remember that those first responders, okay, have families. They have people to go home to. They have people that they impact their lives on a daily
Well,
basis.
my point,
So do us a favor here, and look, you don't need that money shot. You're going to see it on the news. You're not the one who's going to turn in that footage to
and get paid
NBC and
for it.
get your payday.
You're
They're not
right.
going to payday you for that, because guess what? You violated the law, and as a result of that, they're not going to accept that liability.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
So if
I,
the press is allowed to fly in the area, then the public say the first responders know about it.
yes, and
Okay.
they also know
And
that
then
they're
it's
flying at a
coordinated.
ceiling. They're
well,
flying
Right.
at a ceiling.
And
Tom,
they know that if you turn around and you have the media who might be sanctioned to fly adjacent to you, you call the shots as the first responders, and you say, okay, you're going to set up in this zone from here to here to here to here,
Hmm.
and you're not going to encroach past those
Right,
perimeters.
right.
And then this way, you know that your teams can fly those ops areas and maintain that situational awareness, so that you can report back those dangers before they negatively impact those first
For
responders.
those of you
So,
who don't
but
know what
yeah,
Tom's,
yeah, just remember
go
that
ahead,
there's
Herman.
citizens involved here also, people. Okay. All extensions of our own families, right?
Yeah,
That's why those services are provided for quality of life. And I'm telling you that this is a direct impact. It's not spinning a tail here. It's not saying, hey, I was traveling at 240 knots and I spotted a drone. No, this is real. This is real stuff you can impact today. Don't fly adjacent to public safety incidents.
a
I'm
quarter
done.
mile,
I'm
half
stepping off the
mile, a
box.
mile. When there's a fire, an
It's
emergency
called
vehicle
out.
coming.
It's called out on the guidelines. Okay, if you don't know them, learn them. Spend some time and get
Well,
up there and
Eddie
learn what the
Nunez,
regs are.
Eddie Nunez says, I don't understand what the big deal was to shoot a fire in a park. I personally really dislike that park, but neither here nor there. The point that, and I agree with you, but
No,
the point,
Eddie, what Eddie's saying is right. What's the point? What's the big deal about shooting that fire?
trying to be
Okay.
first, trying to one up.
well,
That's a
well,
one upper.
Tom,
You learn that as a 104
isn't
pilot. They have
isn't
one
isn't
uppers. Go ahead,
it
Herman.
isn't an emergency situation or temporary
Yes.
It's supposed to
Yeah.
be,
so
yes.
Yeah. And
basically
I'll tell you something. I'll
so
tell you
basically
something
that's a
about that.
federal breach of airspace to do
Yeah,
that,
Yes,
and again,
yes,
to get that
I
yes.
shot.
know I'm coming off sounding like the drone police here, but I'll cite it for you. Look, here's what happens when those teams respond. So you understand there's a lot of planning that goes behind all of this. Now when that unit responds to the scene, okay, to provide that level of situational awareness, as they're rolling to the scene, one of the members on the vehicle is up filing a NOTAM.
Hmm.
Okay.
Right.
This is real deal. This happens each and every time. It's part of the operating procedures, the standard operating procedures that go behind doing this for real, for real life. Okay. And we're talking about real life here. People can get hurt. Look, when people were flying, during the wildfires out west, they had to ground aircraft. And you say, hey, what's the big deal? What's a drone going to do to a manned aircraft? You know what? Do we really want to find out?
Mhm.
Is that really what it takes? So how about we just air for common sense here? Be civil, understand that they got a job to do. And you don't want to negatively impact their ability to pull
Right.
somebody from danger. If not themselves, then possibly one of your loved ones someday. Okay. So now I have to step off that 3-foot box and get back down to earth. Okay, Herman, back to you, buddy.
That's all right. I'm just saying to you that I had mentioned that about a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was on, I don't know if it was on Sunday night or Wednesday. I did mention, I asked guys to please, I think it was a Sunday, please, to stay away from, these things, and please not fly in temporary flight restriction. And it's always somebody somewhere.
I define it as the The knuckleheads.
There's always
Okay.
somebody.
But you know what? You become part of that group. We call the uh-oh squad. Uh-oh, something's going on. I got to be in the middle of it. Okay. You know, look.
It's getting better, Eddie.
Well, for those of you who don't know what's going on, for those of you who don't know what Tom is talking about, earlier this week in a local AMA park where us New Yorkers, Tom, three of us, Tom, Herman, and I, have flown in multiple times, have had multiple meetups in, they had a bush fire. The
Right.
bush fire was small enough to be a 1/4 acre, but it was a 2-alarm bush fire. And
It
what
could
he
get
was
out
doing-
of it. You can't along the shoreline. You can't really fathom how quickly those things can get out of control. Let me
Right.
just mention something here to Sean at Geek Spawner. Sean, I agree with you 100%. So those of you that aren't following up on the chat here, you know, Sean from Geek Spawner is basically saying, would you walk up to a crash scene, stand next to a paramedic and film? No, that paramedic has a job to do. You're a distraction. You got to step back, get out of the way. And I agree with you, Sean. I'm not saying that emergency services should overstep their boundaries. There needs to be coordination. One of those efforts of coordination is the old fire scene tape, right? There's a fire line here. Don't come into this area because we have hoses slung. We have people moving around quickly. We have operations going on. We don't want somebody to get hurt. The same thing here, just a virtual fire line in the sky.
My issue
Okay,
is,
and that's what I mean. That's what I think is important, Sean.
hey, Stevie,
That we have that that perimeter set up that we can manage effectively. And
Well,
right
see-
now, it takes consideration to manage those types of scenes. That's what
this
I'm
is
asking
where my
for.
problem comes in, because the person had total disregard, not only had total disregard for the emergency services that were being, emergency units that were working there, but there were also news helicopters in the area. So now you're between the news helicopters and the fire at some time and point at any point.
And look, you
that's
get
not-
tunnel vision. You get tunnel vision. And I'm not calling out any names of who, because, you know, I've seen it come from a few different areas already,
I've seen,
from a couple of
Tom,
different angles.
trust me, I know. Yeah.
So, you know, look, is it ignorance? Is it a lack of understanding? Is it a I don't care attitude? It could be all of the above. I don't know. All I'm asking for is that we think a little harder on these issues. Look, a knucklehead is a knucklehead, but a knucklehead can bring us all down, right?
Listen to what Eddie put. He puts a few posts were posted on Facebook. This is what we're talking about, Eddie, regarding the fire, still getting likes and getting praise, even with senior leaders, aka veteran pilots. No, it was wrong and ignoring the hazardous condition. I agree 1000%. And like Tom said, we're not naming anyone, we're not giving any hints of who it is.
No, it's not
if
just
they watch the live stream, which I hope, or one of their friends watches the live stream, I hope this gets back to them, because that's a total disregard. If you're wondering why it's getting so hard to fucking fly in New York now, it's because of shit like that.
There we go.
Yep. Ching, cha-ching. But look, yes,
that in the swear jar.
it does make it difficult for everyone. Okay, you don't want to interfere with any operation. You don't want to be the result of somebody getting hurt or even worse. Okay, and realize that job that they're doing already is fraught with danger. So let's not be the ones that create additional heartache as a result of the tough job that they already have to do.
True.
Okay.
True.
And remember, it could be one of us on the other side of that call for help, right?
Well,
and the last thing we want to find out is one of our cohorts got in the way, and as a result, we don't get to see tomorrow. Okay.
We've seen earlier this year on the news how certain fire situations were fire rescue or helping to put out fires were hindered because there were drones in the area trying to take shots. Now think of it this way. If it was your house on fire and they could not get to put the fire out because they couldn't put their drone in the air because there's a drone in the air to see what they need to see, like hot spots.
Right.
And something happened in your house, how would you feel? Now this was an empty park. What, Herman?
or even if someone was in there.
Right.
Well,
This
you
was
know,
an empty,
I
an empty
alluded
park.
I alluded to the fact that, look, the aircraft that's used predominantly in the public safety realm has thermal imaging, right?
Mhm.
So you got a couple scenarios that happen here. First and foremost is you got a situation where you have a brush fire. That brush fire can get out of control very quickly, and the problem with brush fires is they're very, very smoky, and they
Mhm.
obscure where the line of advance is. Okay, so you really need to get those eyes on it to be
Right.
able to mitigate it quickly. Brush fire can get out of control real quick. It can throw up a lot of acrid smoke that was adjacent to the Belt Parkway. Imagine the Belt Parkway going dark real quick as they
Yeah.
travel at a little brisker pace than the speed limit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we know that section over there. We know what can happen. So you got those situations there, but you also have the fact that if there's a roof operation going on and there are firefighters operating on the roof, they're cutting openings in the roof to vent the
Right.
noxious fumes and the smoke and the heat out of the fire building so it can be attacked
Okay.
properly. And the drones that are operating up in the sky by those fire departments are looking down and watching hotspots and watching
Mhm.
the signature of those firefighters to make sure they remain out of harm's way.
Right.
Now, imagine if there's a hotspot you see under a group of firefighters, you can relay that
Or they're
information,
heading
get them
towards
out
it.
of there,
Right.
and then moments later, the roof could collapse, and you just made sure 4 of your cohorts get to go home at the end of their tour.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. This is real life. This isn't hey, I want a better shot than the next guy. This is the real deal. This is, look at the direct benefit. One thing that's really happening in this community is the proof that drones are saving lives. Okay,
Yeah, that
so
is
so
true.
let's
News
not
story every week.
kick that advance to the curb.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. I do agree. And like we did, you did do it professionally, Tom, because we didn't give any hint and or clues of who it may be or who it was or whatever. But you got your point across,
And
and
I like
that's
the
all.
look.
That's
I
all
I
that
love
matters. It's
I love these
irrelevant.
people. I love these people. I get along with all these people. Okay. We all have lapse in judgment. Some of us don't always see everything as clearly as we need to. And occasionally there needs to be somebody there to say something. And love me for it, hate me for it, or whatever. You know me, guys. I'm always going to say something if I don't agree with it.
All right.
Okay.
You're right. No, you're 100% right on this. We mention these things all the time. I said something about flying in these areas just a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
And
Sherman puts up in the those guys group.
I
Like
mention it all the time.
if you go to, hold on, I'll pull it up right now. If you go to the those guys group, he has in the announcement um
How you
a
doing,
picture
social media?
a picture of Liberty Island. Can I share, Herman? It's
Oh,
disabled. And this
oh,
picture, he put up this specific picture because there was a rash of people flying the Statue of Liberty. And this is at the top of our group. If you see right here, this is Liberty Island in the red, complete no-fly zone. And these blue markers are white buoys that are outside the island that you're not supposed to pass or fly past. And we've seen too many pictures coming from Liberty Island up close and personal.
Well,
I don't care how much zoom you got. If you don't have an X5 or an X7 camera on your bird, I know you got up close and personal. I know how
remember
to,
there was a whole cadre of people who
yes.
right before it became that no fly zone
Yep.
burnt as many
Before
batteries
they helped
burnt
do
as
that.
many batteries as they could to get a lot of those shots that you're seeing again today. I mean, a lot of these shots are repurposed. A lot
yeah.
of these
They're
shots
They
probably
are, they are,
they
but they're
repackaged.
still they
Yeah.
are, but they're still being praised and with guys knowing how and where to fly in New York City. I don't think, hey, social media, I don't think it's necessary to take certain risk. If you got pictures of the Statue of Liberty before you could fly up close to it, okay, date your picture and say, this picture was taken before this law or zone was put, no-fly zone was put into effect. So we know it's dated. But don't keep putting up pictures so people say, wow, I gotta go get that shot. I gotta fly out there. Where did you fly from? So-and-so park?
Yeah, I shot this before the NFC.
Right,
you know,
right. And then what do people do when they see a picture up close?
Drone shots just posted that there was a car and a missing person in a river before the news channel or fire department had drones, and he was there trying to help. His video was on Channel 3 News. Look, drone shots, you were being a good Samaritan. There's a difference here. Okay. So none of the people that were up in the sky for this event were trying to search for people or help to mitigate the situation. They were part of the squad. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Let me get my possible viral video.
I live close
shot.
enough to the park where I can fly to the park or get to the park and get the shot, not realizing that there are drones in the air by the fire department. And I've seen it out here in the suburbs where I live. If they call more than one station, usually they send a drone up to assess the situation while the second fire department is setting up.
Yeah, and believe me, people, if you happen to live in a rural area or a suburban area that maybe hasn't started employing this product, and you're really up on your game, and you have a 107, approach those public safety entities and say, hey, if you ever need my services, I'm available. Okay. Now that takes on a completely different complexion than what we're actually talking about. So drone shots. I don't see anywhere where you went wrong there. I mean, you were acting as a good Samaritan. So that's my point on this.
Yeah, and see, that's appreciated. Okay. Paul has if I'm correct, even though he's muted, has participated in search and rescue before. You know, there's a procedure. Hi, babe.
Yep, I used to get a lot of requests to go out and help. But now that all the departments have gotten funding,
but you know,
I trained a couple of departments in 107, so
good. Well, Paul, one of the things, you know, by doing what you did was you had to coordinate your efforts.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't that you were going off and performing autonomously amongst this operation. You were coordinating those efforts that you were deploying so that they were layered on top of the other efforts that were in place.
I just want to stress this, Tom, and this is hard living in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. You don't have to one-up me. You can't impress me. You put your pants on like I do, you take them off like I do. So for you to get and I'm speaking not to anyone directly, I'm speaking generally. So to try and get that shot here in New York or wherever, West Bubblefuck, if it involves messing with fire, rescue, police, ambulatory services, it's just dead wrong. Now, if like Tom said, if there's a situation where you feel you might be able to help or offer your services and you're a 107 pilot, by all means, introduce yourself. You can make contacts, whatever. But think about what you're doing. You can't impress me by taking a picture. You can't impress me by getting video footage of flying in a certain spot that no one's flown before. Okay, it's you can't impress me. So if
look, you know,
go ahead.
I just want to go on record and say, look, guys, I love to get the same shots that you guys are getting. I love to, you know, I would. There are shots in Manhattan I would love to get, but I can't. I won't. It's just, you know, that's a decision I make. Okay. You know, I don't think the prohibition over airspace should be as tight as it is right now. I'm a big proponent.
I don't agree either.
In the enthusiasts being able to fly in more spaces. Okay. But again, like anything else, there's a level of responsibility that has to be shown so that we can earn it. Okay. So I'm sorry, I used a term that maybe doesn't go over that well in society today. Okay. We're talking about earning it, not just it being handed to us. Hey, you guys, you can fly wherever you want. Don't worry. We trust you already. Okay. I don't know. As an adult, I've never gotten that in my life. I always had to prove that I was worthy of that trust before somebody handed it to me. And I think we're at that stage where we have to prove out a level of trust in the community being able to do the right thing. And if anything, this is the right thing in my world.
Yeah, yeah. All parties involved, we have love and support for you, and you know this. But there's also wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. I mean,
it happens, but we have to call it out. Okay, when it happens, we just have to call it out. Yeah. And the peer pressure amongst us is, hey guys, great piloting skills, but hey, not appropriate at this point in time.
As I was saying,
so go apply them elsewhere and impress us.
I'm just curious to know how they're going to roll out this test for, hobbyists come the new year, because they're saying that this is rolling out in the new year.
Herman, we're not going to be the first. We're not going to be the first. This is being done elsewhere, Canada and the UK.
And watch this.
It's like
we also have drone registration, and we still have guys and we have just talked now for the last 20 minutes on something that they're supposedly registered pilots.
Look. I'm going to be facetious, but I'm going to say it. Look, if you're going to be an asshole and pull some stupid move, don't register your drone. Do yourself a favor, okay? Don't register, okay? Don't spend the $5. You should save that money for retainer for a lawyer later, okay? So yeah, don't spend the money on that. Look. There's
could be right on that.
Look, the FAA realized that the FAA just came out with the a discussion about type certification for UAS. Okay, so we're starting to get to that level where they're starting to look at certification of the aircraft. And when you start to talk about certification of the aircraft, I'm going to tell you, Herman, visual line of sight goes out the window after that, because remember that the FAA is all about risk assessment. Risk aversion, right? So one of the things you get as a result of aircraft certification is you get a level of trust, okay, in those aircraft, right? And so therefore, over a period of time, how do you think a Walmart, an Amazon, a UPS are going to operate without certified aircraft, right?
Well, see,
with certified aircraft, they'll be able to fly within sectored airspaces, okay? So let's back up 1 second. Remember that Part 107 was only the first step in the FAA's plan to integrate UAS into national airspace.
Yeah.
The very, very first. You're talking about those infant steps as a toddler, okay? That's what 107 was. Now you got all these other pieces starting to come together, okay? Where in order to get to that next step of that level of trust, okay, that the bird's not going to fall out of the sky, and that your communication's not going to go wonky on you mid-flight, okay? So you're going to have those certifications come into play where aircraft are, okay, certified as type, certified for purpose, and certified for use. And when those things come together, you're talking about an aircraft now that can't be changed, can't be modified, can't be tinkered with, and has to be maintained, serviced, and you got to maintain documentation, and you have to probably go through a type certification on a biannual basis. So there's a lot that's going to go behind
this. On that, because the first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was the the Beyond Visual Line of Sight network that was coming to North Dakota, or that they're working on in North Dakota. Because North Dakota,
one of the strips,
North Carolina, Virginia, they're doing all the testing and stuff down there.
Yeah.
And
it's one of the UAS test sites.
Right. And they're working
test corridors.
They're working on a network that will allow them to be able to fly statewide.
Yeah.
Beyond the visual line of sight.
Yeah.
Now, their plan is to establish a physical and infrastructure that will allow it to be possible. So now I just saw a little article on it, and they're working with, they have this one company, Valenci, that has the Boli C-10 UAS. That's the drone that they're using. to test the safety and the reliability of this network. Now, you
Right,
talked
Colonel.
about certification type.
Yeah.
Now, this drone here is already on the process to be able to receive from the FAA the durability and reliability type certification for them to be able to do this.
Right.
Now, this drone is going to be a drone that they're using to test this network. Now, I don't know if this is another UTM, but like when I find out some more information on it, I'll I'll get back to you on it.
Well,
but,
one of the things that has to happen here as a result of this is realize when you certify an aircraft as to type with the FAA, you're actually required to use certified components in that aircraft.
Hey, Roger.
Okay. Something can't come off the shelf. A Garmin device,
Right.
a Garmin navigation device can't come off the shelf without certification and be placed into your aircraft. Look, if you're flying experimental, yeah, you can. But no, if you're flying a certified type, like with aircraft single engine land certification, and you're flying a Cessna 172, then whatever prop is on it has to be on it. Whatever's certified to operate with that aircraft has to be on it. Right. And anything you ask for has to be documented and vetted. Okay.
They're using this Burley C-10 UAS craft is what they're using. And that's already supposed to be according to the articles, it's about to receive that certification type.
That certification. And then what they're doing is they're trying to certify a level of acceptability with the communication system, right? Like in the IT industry, we talk about the nines, okay? Having 5 nines of service, meaning there's relatively little to no downtime. Well, when you start talking these systems, you're looking for like, zero fault tolerance in certain things to maintain that connectivity. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, the FAA type certification, just another piece in the puzzle.
Yeah, because according to from what I've understood, that all of these aircraft that are being used, such as even like we talked about Matternet, we talked about what Wing is doing.
Yeah.
We talked about Zipline. All of these aircrafts have to go through the
airworthiness.
FAA's.
Which I
found
out today while doing some research, and it wasn't searching for this, but they mentioned this while I was looking for some drone news. Zipline is the #1 drone delivery company in the world right now.
Currently in the market. Go buy yourself some stock when they're publicly traded.
200,000 successful flights, from everything from COVID and blood tests to organ parts to medicine, etc. So
yeah, they've already been doing. I mean, even locally, we've been doing kidney transports, kidney donor transports.
I know they were doing something down in Virginia, down south somewhere. In Virginia and a few other states, the Carolinas.
So it's happened locally as well.
That's why I thought it was very smart for Walmart to team up with them, because half the work is already done.
Look at what these companies do, Herman, right? You don't go out and innovate yourself. You go out and buy innovation when you got those deep pockets, right? Look at Walmart, Amazon. Amazon finds a good retailer, before you know it, they're part of the fold. I mean, you have all these Cisco. Well, that's all Cisco does is go swallow up other companies. Yeah. If the technology works, it's now a Cisco company. Yeah. Okay. And welcome WebEx, Citrix, right? I mean,
and what's funny about it, if you are a company that they're interested in, 9 times out of 10, you're using their Cisco's equipment anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And Cisco's all over the place. Their routers and firewalls for companies, as well as these cloud services. Cisco's up there in the top 3 companies.
Well, you got Oracle's top notch. Okay, Oracle's top tier. That's it right there. Your systems aren't running on Oracle, you probably got problems. Okay, so your competitors are running on your own system, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with the cable company. Here in New York,
Yeah.
you have Spectrum and you have all these other cable companies, Comcast and all these, but they're all using one person's wires. You know,
Well, that's what
they're only
happens. I
using
mean,
one person's wires.
when you talk about levels of redundancy, you realize there's single collapse points along the way. Okay, so you're either coming through the same manhole cover someplace,
I
okay,
know.
and that
Yeah,
manhole has a fire. Well,
true.
you're shit out of luck. Your block just lost cable. Okay,
Yep.
and Con Ed's probably running under there too. So guess what? Your refrigerator's out as well. So you're screwed. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even though these services are separate and all, you don't have true path diversity,
They're
at least not
interlocked.
yet.
They're
When
intertwined.
you have your Skynet system, when you have, there's levels of redundancy. I mean, you run fiber all over town, but also you put in a wireless network.
Oh, Phillips.
So this way, if one fails, you
You know
fall
what I
over
find
elsewhere.
funny about the whole thing, Lawrence?
Huh.
When they build a building in New York, right? See all the buildings you see going up. We fly downtown a lot from the park. All those buildings you see, apartment buildings went up. All these new apartment buildings, hotels and stuff going up. Everybody knows about the cable. Everybody knows about the telephone guy. You know who does all of that work?
Oh,
Electricians that build the
Yeah, the
building.
local 3 electrician.
We put all of that into those buildings, and that guy comes and does the click, click,
and cuts them.
click. And you talk about, the telephone guy and the cable guy. They didn't do a damn thing but plug in. When they go to your apartment in those buildings, they just screw the little joint in.
Last mile is where the
yeah, okay. There you go.
last mile is where the fame is. Come on, bro. You know that.
Oh, wow. You know what? The first 26 miles is where the money is.
I know. That's the difference. Okay, you don't need the limelight all the time. Okay. Look. You sat on your camping line for a few days, didn't you, to get that spot or what? I remember those days over on Parsons. Okay. Local 3 electricians. So those of you that don't know, to get a apprenticeship in local 3, most people would sit out camping for several days in Queens, waiting to pick up an application.
I remember going past places. I live in Queens. I remember.
Okay, Tom, so you had an inside, huh?
Back in the day, Tom, they would be lined up.
I've been in local 3 all my life.
Yeah.
I mean, my father, my uncles, my godfather.
Well, that used to be the passport to get in, right?
I was
degree.
in a supply division I graduated high school. And I left and went to college and came back. And then I went back in the supply division. And I said, I didn't want to do this anymore. And I just told them I want to switch division. They made me fill out the application. And I still had to go through the apprenticeship program. Yeah. Which was a drastic salary cut. Right. Down to $9 an hour, but by the time it was all said and done, there's a lot more money than what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Albuquerque Quadcopter says local 3 used to cut our cables.
Well, look, it depends on where you live, okay? I mean, look, if you don't put it in right, they have a duty to cut those cables to make sure it's safe, okay? That's the party line for local 3, okay? Local 3, you there's a lot of things you don't do when local 3's around, okay? I had a buddy who went through an apprenticeship. You can tell me if this is true or not, but he had to sit a week or 2 on the bench during his apprenticeship because he was using a conduit cutter, and that'll put a couple of brothers out of a job. So he got tapped on the shoulder by a foreman and told him, what are you using that for? You're supposed to use the hacksaw. And he goes, but I can knock out. Yeah, he had a pipe cutter. So he had to sit on the bench for a week.
As punishment?
I don't know if they make them do that, but I know pipe cutters, mechanical screwdrivers, no. Yeah. No.
Yeah, old school or no way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, you talk. The actually, I believe all the tradespeople that work for the city, they have to be paid prevailing wage. They have to be paid union scale. And I think it was local 3 who made a lot of that happen. That, you can't be an electrician in the city unless you're getting paid scale. And that cuts out a lot of the low ballers on those contracts that come in.
Yeah. who get on, certain into certain projects with, on certain contracts, because if you weren't making that scale, you're now making that scale. Plus, if you don't have, the benefits, that benefit package goes into your pocket too.
Yeah. So people, what we're saying is make sure your kids go to trade schools. Okay. They'll fare a lot better in society as they move forward.
The problem with trade
there's a
schools,
complete lack. Well, there's a complete let me rephrase that, Herman. Consider going into the trades.
the problem with trade schools though, Tom, especially I know like for local 3, or should I say electrician, period, if you're going to struggle in school if you don't know how to do math.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what I'm saying is you got to look at, there has to be a blended education. Okay. There's got to be a blended education approach. Paul, take care of yourself, man.
All right, man.
Good seeing you, man.
Take it easy.
There's got to be a blended approach. I mean, they have to turn around and offer this and find out if kids are interested, and if kids have an aptitude to it. Okay.
Right.
Because these service trades, I mean, it's dramatically going to be an opportunity for some serious employment as we move forward. So.
Well, Tom, that goes back to what you were talking about before, and the educational system in these trade schools and how they've suffered here, especially when we know here in New York City how they've suffered. And a lot of the guys that I work with went to grading. We got guys that they've started this in motion from their high school days.
Right.
And this is what they wanted to do. And
in this city we had some great schools. Automotive, Queens Vocational. I went to aviation. I went to aviation high school.
Okay.
Then you had your math schools. your science schools, Stuyvesant,
Brooklyn
right?
Tech.
I mean, Brooklyn Tech. And so, and unfortunately, I believe aviation was very fortunate because they had some industry backing there as well. So that was helpful. So you had the military also that would troll the hallways for potential aviation mechanics. So they were very supportive.
Stevie says he's surprised he can still see us. He's off in the woods on some trails somewhere.
Good for you, Stevie. Living the life, Stevie.
Yes. He's out there hiking. Dude, if I had the lung capacity, I would probably go back to riding bikes long distance or
Lawrence, my wife's e-bike came in last week. My e-bike is due to be delivered next week. I'm excited.
Did you take it for a test ride?
Of course. I'm excited like a 12-year-old. Okay. So
he's excited like a 12-year-old. You know what that reminded me of, the story I told you before, Lawrence? When I was a kid, and for my birthday, my father had that's back, I'm going back now, the $6 million man.
Yeah.
And he left it on the nightstand, and when I woke up, I saw it. I said, that ruined school for the day.
Yeah.
That wrecked school for the day. I got to get
I got my ship notice from FedEx. Okay. It's actually coming a day early. I'm all excited. But yeah, you know what, Lawrence, you're talking about lung capacity, stuff like that. I agree with you, man. But what I found that this is, it's a game changer, bro. It's, you jump on the bike, you got 5 levels of pedal assist. You even got a throttle. There are no hills. There are no hills with an e-bike. Okay. That's the nice thing, bro.
Tom, can I say something to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't let him fool you with this lung capacity thing.
Yeah.
What happened?
Don't let him fool you with this lung.
Well, it hasn't stopped them from talking, right?
Here we
hasn't
go.
stopped them from talking.
This is the same guy that made me hike hands and knees to the top of Inwood Hill Park through some little trail he found because the road wasn't good enough for him.
Not
Well,
true.
Consider the e-bike, man. I'm probably gonna, I haven't been posting in a while to lens capture online, but
You're gonna
I guess
start back.
I think I'm gonna do an unboxing and a build.
Okay.
Okay.
That would
And
be
we're gonna
good.
do some trail stuff, and also get the drone up to follow us on some things so I can keep the tie-ins alive. But you know what? I'm looking at it this way. This gets us to a lot of places I could get my camera into.
And a lot of places, like you said, you don't have to tell your wife that it's a 4-mile
It's only
trip.
half
You
the
tell her
distance.
2
Yeah, I
miles
know.
to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've already been accused of that on numerous occasions, and that's how I won this one. Okay?
I'd be, hey, D90 Bell, how are you? With that, Tom,
The only thing
have to,
the only thing, Lawrence, is I had to say to her, our helmets have to be different colors, and we can't start dressing alike. Okay, I just can't have that. Can't have that, man.
I feel you, Tom. I feel you. No matching riding outfit. No matching riding outfit.
No one's name is coming up on YouTube right now. I don't know why it's doing that to me.
What?
Okay, you see in the chat on YouTube?
Yeah.
No one's name is coming up. I can just see what they type. And
you got to refresh that page.
I've done it.
Yeah, something's wrong there for you.
Yeah, because I see everybody here. I see everyone.
Yeah, everybody's coming across.
D90, everything's good on this end.
I'm gonna do it again.
Hey, Eddie, if you're still in the chat, man, we definitely gotta hook up with your Super 73. We gotta go take a couple of rides there. Okay.
Eddie has a bike.
Yeah, Eddie's got a Super 73. Yeah. So, and I think he's actually has 2 of them now. So, gotta get the wives out.
There we go.
Here we go now. I can see right now. Breaking news: local drone pilots on e-bike were seen down
Hey,
were seen headed down I-95 at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, being followed by some aerial devices filming them. So right. Yeah.
Well, check this one out here. Drone delivery is coming to Brazil. Speedbird Aero is a Latin American drone delivery company. They have received an approval from Brazil's National Civil Aviation Agency to operate 2 experimental delivery routes in Brazil. Now they have a proprietary drone that's integrated with Parazero's parachute recovery system.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about a drone company here that's supposed to be getting in. It's a drone delivery system that's going to be teaming up with a company that delivers food called iFoods over in Brazil. Now they're this is the first Speedbird Aero. This is the first Latin American company to receive this approval to operate drone delivery. Now they're supposed to be coming up with an on-demand food delivery service that incorporates other platforms on the last mile. We'll talk about that last mile thing, the last mile of delivery. So what's going to happen with this thing is that they're supposed to be incorporating like motorcycles, scooters and stuff like that to this drone delivery. What it's going to do is it's going to pick up from a rooftop pickup station and fly to an iFood hub where they're going to have these couriers on bikes and scooters are going to deliver it the rest of the way.
Right. It's going to be basically the best way to picture it is a hub and spoke system, right? So
that's exactly what it is.
Hub they're flying out of to go to these outer or intermediary spokes and
that's
dropping
exactly
off those, and then they take them the rest of the way.
What it's going to do from that spot where it drops off is going to go to the secondary location beyond visual line of sight.
Yeah.
which is approximately 1.5 kilometers away. Now, this is going to travel to that next site, and I guess it's going to pick up there and come back to this area, and it's basically moving in.
Yeah, it's an assembly line
Right.
operation, basically. Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
going to have the guys on bikes and scooter. Now, when we talked about drone delivery,
Don't want to cut those guys out on bikes, man.
but
I was thinking about in my
I
retirement, I might be
don't go
delivering some Uber,
faster.
dude, on my bike, you know?
Well, hey, you might want to get down with it. But that's what iFood is. It's just like we have what are those guys? Grubhub and Uber Eats and
DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber
DoorDash.
Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these.
We got
Sure,
the whole hoist of them, and over in
Yeah,
Brazil,
start talking about the
like that.
bodega around the corner. See if he wants to work out some agreement. I can start delivering in the neighborhood.
Sushi of the fly, flying sushi, flying fish.
It's like
Charo.
That might be dangerous with the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give a seagull a reason, right?
Let them get a
Okay.
whiff of it.
You look at them wrong, they go after you.
Yeah, that might be a problem with the birds.
Yeah.
Flying fish.
As soon as they smell a fish, Kisharo.
But this is supposed
Seagulls
to
would
get
attack.
started in December, so we'll see where this is going. But
India just bought $3 billion worth of MQ-9A Reapers.
you said in India?
India.
Okay.
3 billion. So 30, they bought 30 of them.
Right.
Okay. But they requested immediate delivery of 6 because they're having a current conflict on the border with the disputed region between them and China. So they want to try to save their limited, which isn't that limited. We realize how large India is, and their military is enormous. But still, they're looking at these MQ-9 Reapers as being able to reduce the number of pilot sorties that they have to maintain in the sky to watch that region. Okay,
that makes a lot of sense.
And remember that the MQ-9A Reaper can fly at incredible altitudes. I think it can go as high as 40,000 feet. And it can loiter there for 24 plus hours.
And not just that.
And not put anybody at risk.
It's a rolling no-fly zone as well with the jamming technology.
Lawrence,
yeah, exactly.
We did a story on the Reaper, didn't we?
A while back, maybe about a month back, we did.
Actually,
I actually saw them firsthand. We were in the Vegas area. We were north of Pahrump in what's called Nye County. And instead of coming back the same way we had went, we actually went north about 30 miles and then caught 95 coming down there, State 95. And my wife pointed out, "Oh, sweetie, look, there's a drone in the sky." And I looked and I went, "That ain't just a drone. That's a Reaper."
Tom, that's not the one that they're discontinuing, is it?
No. This is the MQ-9A, so this is relatively new. So this is a pretty effective weapons platform and electronics platform and camera platform. So I saw another one and another one and another one, and we actually counted over 15 in the sky. And as we turned on to 95, we continued to watch them as they were taking off, one right after the other at Creech Air Force Base, which actually runs parallel to 95. They were taking off every 20 seconds. They put over 25 of them in the sky at one time.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, it's funny that you talk about that, because Herman, I don't know if Herman was going to go into the story, but the United Kingdom has a bird, brand spanking new. It's still under test, but there's an order for them called the Loyal Wingman. And it looks pretty badass. This is a picture of it, actually. I would go into detail, but I need to do some fact checking on the specs and what it can do. But this is actually what it looks like here, and I think it looks pretty badass, to be honest.
Well, the U.S. Navy actually has a very similar craft that they're testing right now, and it's actually very stealthy
What happened to Herman? His camera went
device.
out. Herman's
Still
still
see
there?
him up on the feed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
But yeah, so think about what the Navy does, right? So the Navy, whenever a battle group is out at sea, we're talking a battle group is a carrier surrounded by numerous other vessels, such as destroyers and fast frigates, and then supply ships and oilers and ammo ships and such. They maintain what's called a CAP, or carrier air patrol, where they have aircraft up constantly. You will not get within 200 nautical miles of an aircraft carrier.
yeah, Herman,
Okay.
somehow Herman got kicked and one of us are administrators. But while we're
Yeah.
doing this, I had wanted to show you guys, I just pulled up a YouTube, we call it YouTuber, but I just pulled out a YouTube video of the Wingman. Boeing is building this one for the UK.
Yeah.
And this is it right here. Let's hit this and hit play. For those of you, I can't see the chat right now, even though I do have two screens, but this
Global
is the
Hawk,
screen that
yeah.
I have the chat in. But this is Boeing's version, the UK's version of our stealth drone. I didn't want to show
Right.
this dude's face. Here it is. But
Yeah.
that looks pretty, it looks pretty bad. Oh, I did find out a spec on it. One of the main, welcome back, Herman. One of the main specs
Told you
of
something
this
was going wrong over
particular bird, and I say main specs of it, is counter intelligence, meaning it'll go in and get a lot of information and you won't even know it's there because it's probably jamming the entire area. It has a jamming system on it. I need to find some specs. Hold on. I'm gonna go to, yeah, Herman. I thought something was up because when I came back, you were gone.
So basically, what I was saying was, when the Navy puts up that carrier air patrol, you know, they're basically flying in this area where they have the AWACS up in the sky, the big eyes in the sky, and then they have the fighter wing up in the sky, always protecting them.
Mhm.
So, you know, the Navy's looking at this technology to have up there on a regular basis, and to have the safety net around all of that, and be able to keep these things up loitering, you know, for plus days, we'll say. And these
Okay.
aircraft are capable of that.
I just did a quick check on the loyal wingman that they call it, that they're introducing into the UK. The drone has a length of 11.7 meters, a wingspan of 7.3 meters. That I don't know the conversion, but it says UAV will be capable to fly at subsonic speed and obtain a range of more than 2,000 nautical miles. You know how fast this thing's got to be doing? 2,000 nautical miles is a pretty good area to cover.
Well, think it's a flight from here to Vegas. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
2,000 nautical miles.
That's pretty impressive.
If you're talking about linear, it's a trip to Vegas, baby.
Yeah. Well, the Royal Air Force, local wingman, unmanned, developed by Boeing Australia, in collaboration with the Royal Australian Air Force, are building these for the United Kingdom. And it looks to, I have some information here.
Now they were working on something with that with Australia. With that,
oh, it's Australia. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Geek Spawner just corrected me. He said Australia. Boeing's working on it for Australia.
For Australia.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
I'm sorry. I was saying for the UK. I apologize for that. They must be testing them in Rockhampton. Tim Jackson. Tim
That's for the
Jackson,
global
what's good,
defense
man?
market.
How'd you slip in here? And I was on another screen. That's,
Yeah, he did. He slipped in.
yeah.
You heard me, Lawrence?
Hmm.
So it's working in the global defense market. So
Tim Jackson is one of our super fans. He's from the States here. And
Hold on a second.
I asked him how the hell you got to Australia.
What's up,
And
Tim?
like any man, he says a woman.
What's good, Tim Jackson? Mr. Jackson, we at work?
Yeah, are you at work, dude, or you're off today? Because if you're off today, I know it's late where you're at, but you can come hang out with us if you wish. Or are you driving to work late? Usually by the time we start at 5, he's already out the door and in his car.
Yeah.
It's like early morning over in Australia.
Yeah, it's all artificial intelligence, Lawrence.
Yeah,
Huh?
so the
Yeah,
Navy
AI.
has the X-47B. That's their stealthy, or they call it the Russian military's worst nightmare.
Oh, get out.
It's a very, very stealthy little drone that can take off from any aircraft carrier. And imagine how many of those little suckers you can store. But this is
Yeah, right?
actually
Because they're a lot smaller.
Yeah, this is I guess a combat autonomous combat vehicle of sorts. Okay. Or aerial, unmanned combat aerial vehicle, I think is what they're trying to call it now. A UCAV
Unmanned combat aerials. Yes, it is. That's
vehicle.
exactly
A
what it is.
UCAV. Yeah.
Yes.
So
By Northrop Grumman.
yeah, it's basically a I guess the designation will probably be like an MQ-29. It'll be a Stingray.
Keep talking. I got some footage. Keep talking.
Basically, these are, yep, that's it right there. Kind of a nice monocoque type of wing situation. You can see that it's fairly stealthy because of its shape.
Right, the
in the
angles.
air. Okay. And plus the engines are recessed above
Right, so you can't see the heat signatures from the ground.
That's correct. And as you can see, they're being refueled from the air. So they can actually, they're talking about creating fueling drones to remain on station. Now imagine that, okay? You're talking about being able to pull up to the pump, right?
Yeah.
When you're operating
Anywhere.
a tanker, you basically have the staffing on board, your resources on board, you have a certain amount of time in the air that
And
you
this
can
is
loiter,
this is
right?
the Navy ship, huh? Yeah.
This is Navy.
Yeah, I see their markings on.
Yeah.
United
So
States Air Force / Navy.
yeah.
Well, Navy / Air Force, correction.
Lawrence, that Boeing ship you were showing before,
Yeah.
that is designed to disrupt
Yes.
both manned and unmanned missions.
There's a military term for that. It's called a wild weasel.
The counterintelligence.
A wild weasel is an aircraft that's designated to perform electronics and jamming and disrupting your enemy's communications and command and control structure. So we've had them, basically things like the old F4s. They were turned into wild weasels. They were purpose-built wild weasels.
Nice
so they call them wild weasels.
Yeah, because these guys
are and disrupt everything.
And remember what used to happen is, like it with the Prowlers when the A6s had to fly in and and lay down some ground bombs. You would have actually it was the intruders, and then they had a designation. There was also a prowler. Well, the prowler had weapons officers and electronics officers on board, and they would actually fly in first, okay, and they would disrupt
the area for them.
They would disrupt the radar and the surface-to-air missile connections, so that the bombers could come in behind them and blow them up. And then, of course, they've advanced that to the point where these wild weasel vehicles, weasel platforms, the aircraft,
at the same time,
usually didn't carry weapons until they started to advance what those harm weapons, basically the ones that would lock in on your radar and then follow that path right down and blow you up.
Right.
Well, the X-47B, guess what it's going to have on board? It's going to have that capability in all likelihood. But imagine if they can create a tanker version of a drone that just lingers in airspace for up to 24 hours with a load of fuel available. You can relay aircraft, right?
Yeah.
Think about what we were talking about before with the food delivery, Herman, right? Where you have the central point, and then it goes out to these intermediary spoke locations, which then feed other locations.
Mhm.
You know, you could have a big tanker sitting up in the sky, and these little drones could be pulling up and taking a little drink to disperse elsewhere.
Well, you know what? I could see something like that happening. We talked about that other aircraft that they had up in the sky for what, over 700 and some odd days or whatever.
Yes, yes, yes. NASA,
Yeah.
So,
their little 4-man drone.
I mean,
Because it was a
have to-
drone.
It doesn't
just
have
while
to
they
be
were
that
flying it.
long, but it could sit up there with fuel,
Right.
and refuel anything.
Tim
Yeah.
Jackson, are you home today, mate? Oh no, I have off today and tomorrow because I'm working the weekend. Oh, okay.
Okay,
What's
so
up?
just send
Hold
them the
on,
link,
hold
all right?
on. Let me see if you got time to get on here, man, and chill with us for a few. I always love Tim Jackson to come in. I call him those guys super fan.
Well, Tom, as you know, keeping in line with the Made in America theme that everybody's been preaching nowadays, and you know, Autel Robotics is getting ready to roll out the Autel Evo 2 Dual
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Enterprise UAS, built in America or assembled in America
Thank you. Thank you.
with foreign and domestic parts.
Yes.
And it's built in Bethel, Washington, or Walla Walla, Washington.
Yeah, Bethel. Yeah.
Tim
Exactly.
Jackson, I
Yeah,
sent it through Messenger. If you want to come
You
in,
know, and
you're more than welcome.
you know, this is coming equipped. Well, actually, basically, this is, you know, for the people in the public safety sector, because I think this one, I don't know, I didn't check on the price tag on this one, but I believe that it's up there in the price tag. But regardless of that, it's coming with the same 8K camera that was found in the original Evo 2 when they released
Uh-huh.
it, and it's got a thermal camera that goes along with it. So, I mean, it's a pretty good piece of equipment.
And there's something,
But I guess if you bought any of the other drones, I guess you can just buy the camera now and swap the
change it
camera
out.
because I think they're all interchangeable, those cameras now.
they are supposed to be interchangeable.
So, but
They-
does it have the electronic package on it to deal with the thermal imaging?
Well,
infrared?
according to when they marketed this drone, I don't quote me on this one or the other ones being able to use this thermal camera, but when they marketed this drone, they said you can buy either one of them and you can
interchange
buy
the
the
camera.
cameras were interchangeable
Yeah, yeah.
because they're all of the platforms they claim are the same.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot more as far as an electronics package that has to exist outside the
I would
camera
think so too, inside
to
the
support
body, yeah.
that FLIR Boson camera and the imagery that's sent through there. I was just thinking that maybe it's all contained in the camera. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hey,
Okay.
we're looking at what?
But I mean, it has,
48
it's a nice package. It's got 10 thermal color palettes, which are important when you're doing work that involves thermal imaging. When you can tune what colors mean what, it makes a big difference. It's got picture-in-picture mode. I believe you can superimpose the imagery just like you could in some earlier released dual cameras, such as the Mavic 2 ED. That makes a huge difference. I don't think the resolution on the camera is not the highest. When people see people are thrown off when they see resolutions on thermal imaging and go, well, a 4K camera, you're only getting like 640 by 412, 512.
Hey,
what is
Jackson.
No, it's a completely different resolution that we're talking about here. So
Yeah.
Okay,
again,
no
that's
problem,
why it's
Tim.
that's
they
why
have
it's really it's why it's really important to be able to superimpose that visual image on top of the thermal image.
Right, because you're getting the 8K camera, you're talking
Yeah.
about 8,000 by 6,000.
Yeah, I think this is pretty up there in price wise. I don't know if if I'm not
It's a bit
mistaken, I think
pricey, I believe.
what 8,500 or something like that just to start with, or if I'm not
Yeah, it's the
mistaken, and
camera.
I think it goes up from there. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, anything that has FLIR on it, add zeros. Okay.
Oh, this is what I was saying. Also, along with that special edition pack for industry, they have something. Ortel has
Hey,
something
Jackson,
um something called a live deck,
keeps doing this
where
thing.
you can punch in, and if you want to have a live cert television feed or have it go to a live feed over the internet, this live deck box will handle all of that. I'll actually post it in the group here. I was
Yeah,
just
well,
looking for it.
basically, not to demystify that, that's basically an RTMP solution that will broadcast your signals. But look, 38-minute battery life. So under realistic conditions, you're talking about a half-hour flight.
Yeah, a true half-hour flight, depending on weather.
Yeah. And it has some features on it that handle wind differently, or they say it does. So look, they made certain strides here, but let's be honest with ourselves. It's not an American-made product. It's an American-assembled product. And until we solve supply chain issues, it's going to be impacted.
Yeah.
We're talking about bringing Kodak back.
Well, we're bringing Kodak back to make the stuff they've never made before, right? What was that? We'll bring Kodak back to make ventilators.
Because
okay,
you got to remember, here with this drone, you're talking about a drone that's got Japanese parts. You got Chinese parts. Because
Japanese parts are too expensive. There are no more Japanese parts. You can't afford Japanese parts. Okay?
no, the sensor.
That's why Sony gets their sensors made in China. Okay,
Well,
so please stop.
Well, still technically.
Thailand. Sorry, Thailand.
Technically,
Keep the elephant
it's going to
alive.
be considered as a Japanese part.
No, look. Don't you remember growing up as kids? Oh, that's made in Japan. That's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
You can't afford stuff made in Japan anymore. Okay.
You're
And now people are looking and going,
It's
oh,
the
that's
same
made in the
thing
USA.
here.
That's made in the USA. That can't be any good.
Come on, if you gotta pay $1,500 a month for rent, how much you think they're gonna pay a guy to put drones together in a factory?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Those those factors as real estate are going to go down a bit, because when these companies realize they don't have to be right next to LaGuardia, okay, or JFK, and they can go get a decent per square footage rent somewhere else.
No, what I'm saying
we might
is,
compete a little better.
What I'm saying, the cost of living in America.
Oh yeah, please.
When you start putting factory workers back to work in America, keep in mind you can't pay them peanuts. They're gonna have to earn a cost of living they're gonna be able to live on.
Do you think farmers can live off of what they sow? No, we hand them money, and then we tell them what not to grow.
They're not going to subsidize factory workers like that. They're just going to take the job back out of the country again.
I'm just going to say strap in and watch it happen. Only because maybe somebody will get in his head that a subsidy. Please, what is it any different than the subsidy we give to GM every freaking time they talk about closing?
But once again, come on. Talk about to GM, not Joe Schmo that they let go on the line.
Every time the banks give away money to people who can't pay it back, okay, we go, oh, okay, here's some more money that we really don't have. Let's give it to you, okay? So, I used to have to drive by that ticker over by Penn Station constantly and watch the national debt grow, okay? And I'm like, we're printing money here. We're printing money, okay? So if you're going to print money, at least spend it where you need to spend it. Keep your supply chain viable. Not everything can be built offshore. If you do that, then you got a potential kink in your defense, okay? And I'm sorry, we're still talking about defense because this is not one global community. We don't act like it, at least. So we better be very, very cognizant of what we're letting go offshore, But this was really a discussion that all of us should have gone into a time warp and went back 20, 30, 40 years ago and had these discussions out loud.
No, I believe they knew this. It was just about greed, Tom.
Greed is the ultimate for a capitalist.
It was about
What
greed.
other super fuel is there?
There isn't.
Okay.
Hey, Tim Jackson.
We're talking about a capitalistic society.
They knew the potential of this, but they don't care.
Your camera's off, lower left-hand corner, Tim. There you go.
I mean, you know.
What's up, Tim?
There he is.
Tom, meet Tim. Tim Jackson, meet Tom.
Tim Jackson, the legend.
The legend.
Tim,
I ain't
Tom,
no legend. I ain't no legend.
I believe didn't Tim and I meet when there was a Vegemite incident
Yes,
going on?
Yes, that's right. Yes. Okay.
And do you know there are other Vegemite podcasts online?
Okay.
Vegemite tasting podcast online,
I
guys.
thought you were going to tell me that there was a hub here in the States where Lawrence can get some.
Oh, there are places. There are places.
No, that's okay.
It does get imported.
Herman, I still have 1 or 2 packs. I was holding for you.
I'm good. I still got the pack and a half that you gave me.
I thought Herman was going to say, it's okay. I'm regular. I don't need it.
You hear this, Tim?
Oh man, that stuff is disgusting. I don't care.
Yeah, but Tim, he tried to layer it. Okay, so he had the Vegemite, and then we egged him on to have a beer too. Like you needed 2 opposing yeasts going at each other at the same time.
The way he was spreading it on heavy, like he was plastering.
Nah, small doses.
Well, you know, and then there's Justin, but there's no accounting for taste there. Okay, so
listen, all I can say,
really liked it.
all I can say is if I was in a desert, I could probably survive off of that stuff, licking it off of a rock.
No. If you were in a desert, that would suck whatever moisture you had left in your body out.
That's salt,
okay?
right? The salt content, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
What you do, Lawrence, you get a hot piece of toast and a wad of butter. You put it right on the bread. The butter just runs right off.
You mean like when you
And
lift
that
the
way-
bread, the butter dripped off?
That way, you spread the Vegemite, right? It spreads out nice and thin across the butter.
Yeah, but you're also hoping that oil encapsulate it when it's down in your stomach.
And then
Okay.
all it does
So it
is
sets up
takes
a
like salt
barrier.
and butter.
So the yeast doesn't take up residence down in your stomach.
That
Okay.
stuff is disgusting by
It's-
far.
all I could say
Yeah,
is
it's like anti-probiotics.
all
by
I
the
could
way,
say is,
just so you
Tim,
know.
while I was drinking a beer after the live stream, I took a
Okay,
swig of
Jackie.
beer, and all of a sudden my stomach just went. I was like, you know what? That's that damn Vegemite fighting the
That's
beer.
like-
Something's going on.
That's yeast versus yeast, round 1.
It's like pouring salt on a snail. You ever see that happen?
Yeah. Oh, ooh.
Yeah. Chemical reaction.
That's right.
Kids, we did that
All right,
as kids.
Albuquerque.
Oh, Albuquerque. All right. Yeah, see, I got to keep refreshing it to get it.
So what's good, Tim? You I know it's early morning there. What you gonna do for the day, man? Just chill and veg out, or you got errands to run, or?
Now I just charged all my batteries for the Maverick Zoom 2 Zoom, so I'm gonna fly it today. Hopefully,
Okay, so you're going
for you,
out
man.
flying. Hey, Corey.
definite.
All right.
Definite.
All right.
It's got the
Looking
cheer all
forward to
covered
seeing.
up here.
Looking forward to seeing some footage, man. The question:
Yeah.
Your son. Has your son flown that Tello yet?
I don't know. He hasn't gotten contact me.
I'm sorry, Tim. Hold on 1 second. Marcel came out with a good one. He says it's all lies. The best way to eat Vegemite is to spread it thick on toast. Then take that toast and throw it into the garbage. Okay?
Oh, well,
He says that's the right way to eat Vegemite. By the way, Marcel, I agree with you, Marcel.
Because you ruined it.
Yeah, because you ruined it. The toast, that
Oh, my
is.
God.
Yeah.
Just spread it on heavy.
No,
wouldn't even-
that's okay.
Well, the one video I saw on YouTube was they had a jar like a Skippy jar, Skippy
Mhm.
peanut butter jar.
That could be
And the
dangerous.
guy took his
Full of
knife and took a
Vegemite?
slather. Yeah. and took a slather of that out and just like spread it on toast like it was. And I was like, oh, that's not going to go good. You know, the problem is you only see the video is when they consume it. You don't see the aftermath.
Right.
Okay. Those are the fun videos. Okay. If you're not used to that in your system, that much Vegemite's got to take its toll.
Well, that started out like the kids over here. They start young. So that's why they like it, because they were brought up on it. I tried it.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, it's an acquired taste. Yeah, exactly.
But you tried
like
it,
the
Tim.
washing machine.
Tim, you tried it as an adult, right?
Yeah.
You tried it as an adult.
Yeah.
See, there's a big difference. When you're a child, you don't know what to taste. Your tastes are to the extreme because you were a child. Sugar tastes sweeter, salt tastes saltier, soda tastes better when you're a child.
Look, I'll give you a Vegemite-like story, maybe a little worse, but there's something in the Philippines called balut. Okay. So
A what?
the balut. So basically what it is, it's a duck egg that's buried for 30 days.
Isn't it supposed to be black and something?
And then what they do is they steam them. And what you do is you break off one end, pop a hole in the other end, and you suck it down.
No,
now,
that's
it's also known as an aphrodisiac.
What if there's
I
bone in it?
happen to be consuming a good number of San Miguel beers one night with some members out of my air wing when they said to me, and they pushed over this jar in it. To me, it looked like pickled eggs, you know.
Right.
And we bet you can't. And like I said, I was probably half in the bag at the time because I don't think I'd do it otherwise. But the first thing I noticed was after we cracked it open, I started to sober up. Once I sucked on this egg, and there were
bits of bone.
Yeah, you know, it was basically already fertilized and developing. I was completely sober before it actually hit my stomach. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Okay.
Wow.
And
no, what?
Being an aphrodisiac or not, I don't know. I had an intimate relation. I had an intimate relationship with a toilet later that night. So, maybe it was an amorous relationship.
You got what you deserve, Tom.
But, you know, it's a delicacy there. In fact, they have street vendors, you know, during martial law, when you couldn't be on the streets between like 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., you knew you could go back on the streets at night when you heard the balut sales guys on their carts yelling balut, balut.
There's guys running around selling this stuff?
Oh yeah, man! Street food, number one street food.
Wait a minute. Where they were burying these eggs? Where?
You know, in the dirt. What you do is you basically you're letting them ferment for a little while. Okay, and you know it adds that extra edge.
That's okay. That's okay. I can only imagine.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that one day with a chicken.
And I honestly think when I was in the Navy, I remember putting in what was called a no shave chit so I could grow a beard. And I remember the chief petty officer saying to me, "Don't embarrass yourself, kid. I ain't approving this. You can't grow a beard." I think it was shortly after that, after I had the balut, that I was able to grow a full beard.
Yeah, you probably able to grow a few other things on your body.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Let the hair go.
Yeah, and I think I finally went soft about 30 days later. By the way, just saying. Okay, just saying. Okay.
You know, there's just certain limits, and fermented egg out of the ground is one of them.
Yeah, don't make decisions when you're half in the bag. That's the moral of the story. Okay?
You were drinking, right? Once again. Alcohol is the reason, man.
I think it was a lot like what Stevie said the other day, that most stories in prison start with, or jail start with, the last thing I remember was having some Hennessy. Okay. So, you know, I think that has a lot to do with those poor decisions that people make.
I agree. I agree with you. That I have a few of my own personal Hennessy stories I care not to disavow. So,
you that bad, Lawrence?
But there's a reason I don't drink Hennessy. All right, let's just say that there's a reason I don't drink. I will drink a dark liquor or cognac, but I'm not drinking that shit all night. No, like if I come to your house, Herman, we had 2 shots of Hennessy. We sat there and talked and sipped. That was cool. But more than that,
You're only supposed to sip it. You're not supposed to be chasing the bottom of the bottle.
Listen.
Well, that's where the problem comes in, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking
You
for the
can't
worm
win
that
that
doesn't
fight.
exist. Yeah.
You
Sorry,
can't
the
win
worm
that
don't come
fight.
with that Hennessy.
That's like Ray and Nephews. That's clear liquor.
Are you familiar
You
with that?
can't win that
Tim?
fight.
Tim Jackson, are you familiar with Ray and Nephews?
Nope. And I
Okay.
don't think I wanna be
Imagine
either.
this. Imagine opening a can of turpentine with sugar in it.
It's
Oh,
an
hell no.
it's an overproof white rum from Jamaica.
Yes, very
It
overproof.
actually tastes pretty good.
It's been known to take your voice away if you drink it straight.
That's the
Damn.
best way
Yeah,
to
it's
drink
just
it.
like drinking straight alcohol should kill you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, this Ray and Nephews,
Put a
it
little
tastes
ice.
great in fruit punch, in like
Well,
a fruit punch.
Well, you know
that they
what
make.
we used to do when you would brew beer at home, when you're actually seriously brewing beer, one of the things you would do is in the vapor lock when you're fermenting your beer is you would fill the vapor lock with Bacardi 151 so
Oh,
that no
Get outta here.
contaminants could get in. And
Oh, the
your
151
yeast,
would kill it.
yeah, anything. So it was like a one-way valve where as the yeast was attacking the sugar in the wort that you
Mhm.
and it basically what happens is the byproduct of that is it farts out alcohol and carbon dioxide, so it's also like causing that bubbling effect, right? But it bubbles out of this thing and it's like those old Little Rascal cartoons where the thing is just and you put this vapor lock on top and like I said, fill it with the Bacardi 151 so that extra gas could get out, but none of the contaminants or wild
contaminants
yeast
could get in.
could come across the other way.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom,
that alcohol would kill it right out.
check this out. My grandmother used to bake for the holidays, and she had this big clay pot that stayed underneath the table. And it was there. We all knew it was there. It was there for years. And you would know when she opened it. When she popped that top, your nose would open up no matter where you were in the house. In there is the rum and all that from last year with the fruit that's been grinded and ready and made, and she adds to that and whatever we're talking about. Remember the Vegemite and the what's
Yeah. Whatever falls in
whatever's
the
left goes back into that bucket for next year.
Wow.
And
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Body opens that pot.
Jesus. I remember we
Yeah.
used to put a hole in watermelon and pour a bottle of vodka in there and put it in the freezer for about a month before Christmas.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
The closest to that, I've had watermelon jello shots. They actually cleaned the rind out. They cleaned the watermelon out, and they had a whole half of watermelon. They cleaned it out, and they made a giant jello shot using real watermelon, of course. And you had you had slices at this party, slices of watermelon, but it was a giant jello shot.
that were infused. Yeah, that were infused with the alcohol. Absolutely.
Let me tell you, I have never had a watermelon jello shot after that again.
Lawrence, that's like the liquor store out here. They have those adult ices.
Yeah.
They're about like that long.
And they only recently got permission to start selling those.
Yeah, and they're different flavored, like fruit mix with the alcohol in it.
Oh, they sell them over there?
They're not bad.
They don't have them over here. They don't have them over here.
Well, you can sit around with the kids.
They have some that are like slushy that you can freeze in a pouch. Like the Capri
they were in a
Sun.
pouch. You throw them in the freezer.
Right. You throw it in the freezer. If you shake it up really well, you throw it in the freezer and it solidifies, and then you
they have margaritas. And it's like a slushy. They have margaritas. They have.
No, it comes in the tube just like the kids one. You just cut the top.
No. I know those also, but they have the pouches, almost like the Capri Sun drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, we
have them in a pouch, and you can put them in the freezer,
have those,
and
Tim?
they slush up.
Yeah, we got those, but we don't have the ones that Herman's talking about, the icy thing.
The icy tube.
Yeah, they just started.
Yeah.
They just started in New York State. They just passed a law where they can infuse alcohol into ice creams now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
It was all my life.
Yeah. There is one place in New York. Don't quote me on this. I have to get the address. But there is one place in New York.
My life.
There's one place here in Manhattan that sells alcohol infused ice cream, but it's only one place.
So what's the rum raisin ice cream then?
Well, after you drink the vodka before the ice cream, it'll become a rocky road because you'll be walking on the road very rocky.
Yes, very rocky.
Yeah, right. What's up, Night Train? How are you, buddy? What's
Night
going
Train.
on, sir? Well, I'm glad that we got a chance. I'm glad this show is on Wednesdays because tomorrow's a long day for me.
Oh,
So I get to relax after the live stream and no video games, just relax, eat something, and sit on the couch like Al Bundy.
you sit there and scratch.
Yeah, just sit there, one hand down like this on the belly or whatever, and watch TV with the wife or whatever.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Listen,
Well,
I can relate to Al Bundy.
TV with the wife.
There's a reason he started No Ma'am.
He was married early.
There's a reason why Al has started No Ma'am with his friends in the garage. There was a big fail for a club, but they had fun.
Holy crap.
Bahama Mamas. I've never had a Bahama Mama, so I don't even know.
What's in it?
I don't. What's in it, Night Train? What's in a Bahama Mama? Let's look that up.
Coconut,
A mama from
rum, rum, coconut. I'm trying to think of what else.
Put rum and everything.
Everything goes down better with rum.
They call it Bahama Mama because all the women become mamas after they drink that crap.
Yeah, right. What were you doing, Bahama Mama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was down in the Bahamas doing that, mama.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, ingredients: half an ounce of rum, half an ounce of coconut rum, half an ounce of grenadine syrup, 1 ounce of orange juice, 1 ounce of pineapple juice, and 1 cup of crushed ice. Okay, all right, coconut. See, I'm not big on coconut.
Shake, shake, shake.
Yeah, I'm not big on coconuts.
Nature's milk, dude.
Huh?
Nature's milk.
No, you know what? I got turned off from coconut.
Coconut and rice.
Someone was telling me that first time, now this is down in the Bahamas, my first time there, friend's big jokester tells me, you got to try this drink. You know, they chop the top off the coconut, except this guy chops the top off the coconut, pours a little bit of water out, and then fills it with rum, the rest with rum. And let's just say after about 2 of those coconuts, you're laying under a coconut tree somewhere.
Not good to
So bad experience?
Yeah.
So
I actually laid down to take a nap, and when I woke up, it was dark.
That will
Scared the hell out of me because I didn't realize where I was because I was in the Bahamas. Let's just say, if had I not realized I was on vacation somewhere in the Bahamas, I might have thought I was losing my mind. It wasn't a cool experience.
That fresh coconut, Lawrence, and rum. Yeah, if you don't have food in your stomach, that will dehydrate you,
dude.
Oh yeah.
I remember drinking the second one and saying, I'm gonna just sit here and look out over the water. And when I opened my eyes, it was dark.
It was dark or was nighttime?
No, it was nighttime. It was nighttime.
Oh, okay.
It was.
He had a very nice nap.
Yeah.
Was it dark or was it nighttime?
And was funny. Nobody messed with me. I just sat. I sat there and slept the whole time.
Because I've had some cheap rum, and when I opened my eyes, it was dark too, but it was daytime.
Yeah.
See, key word: cheap rum.
Don't ever drink that, Mr. Boston. I was in college. I never forget that. I'm like, you know what?
Mr. Boston's brandy?
I'm rum. I'm gonna
Oh,
sit right here.
Just Lawrence, remember, he used to drink shit out of a clay pot underneath his grandmother's table. So come on.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
was in college. You got to remember, you in college.
In college, we drank some shit that,
You can get a whole half a
defied
gallon
logic.
of rum for $10. You should have just left that shit in the store.
Do they still have that wine called Strawberry Hill?
Boone's Farm,
Over there?
baby.
Boone's Farm,
Boone's
no.
Farm, Strawberry
No.
Hill.
I don't know. I don't look for those things anymore.
Boone's
No.
Farm, screw on top. The old
I
days.
don't think they do. I don't think they
They
still do.
probably do.
I don't
Somewhere.
know.
I don't look in that section
They're
anymore.
still-
Look
There's still white trash in the
Man, I
world.
can't-
There's got to be Boone's Farm, dude.
That's the time, Tim. They might be right about that. I don't go to that part of the liquor
Yeah,
store.
I don't go there no more. Since
You don't
I
go
started-
down that aisle.
Right, since I started working for all my money, I don't
Yeah,
go there.
but why? The boxed wines are in that same aisle. What are you talking about?
I should have named my first kid Boone.
I'll ask.
What you should name your first kid, Boone?
Yeah.
Boone.
'Cause I
Yeah.
don't
His middle name was Farm.
That was some good stuff.
Oh
back
man,
then.
they had all
Oh.
of that.
I remember the
Irish Gold,
strawberry Boone. Yeah, the
all of those
Strawberry
things.
Hill.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you mess with those no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay.
That was like, hey, as teenagers going, hey, we got to get something really strong. So we got like Night Train.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That
You
was
know,
a
Oh,
mistake
Night
as a kid.
Train.
No, I gotta tell you a funny story about that. When I was in high school, on Fridays, after the football season was over, second semester, guys would hang out on Fridays. You got that last class that you can blow off because it's that class. So we go hang out. Sometimes we go get, guys that go make it longer. We go after lunch and never come back. And guys that go hit up the store, get, some Wild Irish Rose, some Cisco, whatever, 40 ounce.
Yeah.
Well, this one kid that was hanging out with us, he went back to class. And after school, I ran into my sister. And she was like, "What were y'all doing?" I said, "I don't know what happened." She goes, "He threw up right in the middle of the classroom."
Same story, Herman. Same story. We had a kid that came into class, and we're talking about aviation high school, and he came back from, we weren't even allowed out for lunch.
Having a
but
liquid lunch.
Somehow he got out.
Those.
Yeah, but he did a naked dance on the shop table first, and then he passed out and hit his head on the landing. And it was like, oh, fucking ambulance had to come. Oh my God. It's like, yeah. And it all turned out, it was some very, very cheap wine was the culprit.
That was some good stuff though. We had, we used to go Friday nights to, I said it before, I think the South Street in Philly. And that's what we would drink while we were walking. Oh man.
Oof.
Some of the nights I don't remember.
That scrapes the lining out of your throat, man.
Hey, Herman, Tim Jackson should have a blue range. I agree.
I can work on the Smurf mobiles.
So you're
Maybe
working
it
this
still is.
weekend then. That's a good thing. That gives you some time off during the week, right?
Yeah, and then I got to run this event. They got an event going on, so I got to meet with the coordinator of the event, and I got some guys setting up the site, and should go good.
All right. Well, enjoy your few days off.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start enjoying in about 3 hours.
About 3 hours.
Okay. In other words, you're gonna have breakfast first.
Yeah, he's ahead of us in time because now is the time for us to enjoy.
The breakfast. This is happy hour for us. The breakfast of champions: toast and Vegemite.
I got some Powerade here. That's all I got.
Oh, see, you're rehydrating.
Hydrate.
He's rehydrating. Okay. Well, I do the same. I do the same thing in the morning. I'll have what been doing lately because of the sugar level in Gatorade. You know how it had the top has a little bubble edge?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I drink down that much and then I fill it back up with water. So it's not as sweet. But
do you want an alternative?
The sugar,
Yeah.
You want an alternative?
Yeah.
Pedialyte.
You know
what?
that, right, Lawrence?
That's what I used to give my son when he was small.
That's right. You know
what
what?
used to give kids when they had diarrhea and were dehydrated.
Pedialyte is
Yeah.
the same thing as Gatorade without all the sugar. And it does come in flavors, but it's a much lighter flavor. Okay.
Hey, John Coopy.
And it actually is, I mean, it's full of
Coopy.
electrolytes.
You know
It's a
what? I'm
good
going to try
hydrator.
that. I'm going to listen to. I'm going to try that tomorrow
Yeah.
on my way home from work.
You know what?
I'm going to pick
buy
up some
that.
from the store and
We
give it
buy
a try
Pedialyte
on
for game
Friday.
day.
What happened, Herman?
We buy Pedialyte for game day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right, Herman, right?
For the
It's
kids
just a
to
lot
drink it
less.
before the game.
Yeah,
Get it into your system.
there's less salt and less sugar in it than
There
the
it is.
other than the Gatorade and the Powerade and yeah.
That's like, if you haven't seen that commercial, the father sitting on the floor in front of the refrigerator like this. She goes, "Hey, that's my Pedialyte." He just looks at her
Yeah.
like, "Get away
Yeah,
from me."
like, yeah, get away. Yeah. After a real good bender.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You
That's
gotta.
what it was. He
Yeah.
was like,
That's what I
Yeah,
told you,
definitely.
Lawrence. Pedialyte, Powerade, Gatorade, all those things are good after you finish. After you.
Oh yeah.
Prevent
Oh yeah.
hangover.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Gatorade,
Yeah.
Powerade,
The
those are.
easiest way to get carbohydrates into your system.
Well, it's also when and alcohol robs every electrolyte out of your system. Okay, it's
Yeah,
a good
it
way
does.
to get it back. Okay,
And that's why
but
you
she
got
ain't your
vertigo the
friend.
next morning.
Oh yeah. Oh. Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a decent load of vitamin B in Pedialyte as well.
Okay, I'm
I'll
gonna
just
check
be
that
afraid
out,
to-
Tom. Definitely. I
Yeah.
see how milky your skin is and your hair is.
Yeah. No. Dude, this is called Minnesota White. I only come in 2 shades. Minnesota White and Lobster Red. Like there's no freaking in between. Okay? There's no in between, dude. Okay?
They call
I
this.
If I would have
messed up
rubbed the
white.
genie bottle, I would have asked for a little bit of melatonin, please. Could I have just a little bit? Okay.
Need some vitamin B in your life. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Vitamin B.
Yo,
Right, well,
Yeah, he needs a
drinking-
serious. Yeah, if he could get a B12 shot right now. And by the way, do you realize that's a new service they offer here in this country? Tim, you didn't know that. You could call
Yes.
up somebody and they would deliver a vitamin B12
They
shot.
will come and give you a
administer
shot. I
it.
did hear something about that, Tom,
They would start
a
a
while
line.
back.
They'll start a line
My
on
luck.
you.
My luck, I'll get a shot of heroin or something and come back in 2 weeks.
Certain places here, certain places in Manhattan, they've been doing that for a long time.
Oh yeah, they've had walk-in spots.
Walk-in
Yeah.
vitamin B shots. You can go in and get a shot.
Right.
If you're going out drinking and you know you're going to be drinking a lot,
You
it
know,
makes-
the bigger problem is you're not going out drinking. You're staying home and drinking, and you know that can be much worse. Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Because look, I'm not even self-regulating at that point. Oh, I got car keys. I got to be careful. Me and the couch have an intimate relationship, so there's no being careful at that point, right?
Well, see,
So that's why
I
that's why you got to be careful drinking at home.
I don't drink as much at home as I used to. I remember a few years back, I called myself playing Xbox, and I would ask my wife, "Why you didn't come wake me up?" She said, "Because I thought you were playing Xbox. The game was running itself." And
Stevie.
I was asleep.
Yeah. You were propped up in front of it. Yeah.
With the controller right here, and I'm like, I better get up and go eat something and then go to bed. Or you just get up and say, "I need to go to damn bed." Yes. Hit that like button.
It's
Well, this look. This is even with YouTube, Lawrence. I wake up sitting in my chair, and I'm trying to figure out where the hell did I come across that video. It's because I just zoned out maybe an hour ago.
You start
And
out
I woke
watching.
up and I wonder, that it starts to scare me though, because you wind up waking up and watching something on screen and going, "Oh my God, now they think I like that." So then you
And
wind
then
up
you
in the
get more.
hive. Then you get more of that crap.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
what happens.
I'm watching some 14-year-old put on eye makeup, and I'm going, how the hell did it go from a drone video?
You clicked on
Okay.
something.
to a new team putting on eye makeup. I mean, come on, guys, give me a break.
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right, Tom. I've had it happen. I've been up editing late at night.
I was just gonna say that.
And late at night for me is 10, 11 o'clock because I get up 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's late at night
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
So I call myself watching a YouTube video or trying to learn something. And then when I open my eyes, the video is completely stopped. And like Tom said, there's someone on there smashing nails into wood with their fist or something. What did it have to do with what the hell I was watching?
Yeah. Hey,
But-
I understand the Russian dash cam videos because once you start watching those, you're hooked. Okay. But yeah, the kid putting on eye makeup. No, I just don't know how I got there.
Well,
Okay.
Tom, I've been sitting
JSK,
here
take care,
editing.
bro.
Later, JSK.
JSK, see you later, man. I've been sitting here editing, and I'll like do I'll get up and drop the same clip again because that's what I was focused on before I did the nod.
Yeah.
And I'll drop the same clip again, and then when I go back and I watch, I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing is, I'm watching a YouTube video because I really want to find out something in it, but I have to go back 3 or 4 times because I keep zoning out. Okay. Come on, I'm not even asleep, and I'm zoning the freak out.
And you guys
And then I
remember
go,
that-
I look at the screen, and I go, I just missed the part I wanted to see. Now I got to
Yeah.
go back again.
and you
That's
guys
bad.
remember that movie Black Rain?
Black Rain.
Black
That
Rain.
sounds familiar.
It's an old movie, not really old, but it's back from like I think the early '90s, late '80s. What?
Wow, you're old,
Was
Herman.
that Michael?
I know,
Douglas?
right? Right?
Anyway, I went to the movie theater to go see this movie. Fell asleep on the damn thing. So watching it on the television on cable, put it on. It says it's coming on. I put it on. I get through. I'm watching the movie and I fall asleep again. I finally watched that movie about 2 years ago.
Finally got to watch all of it.
Fall asleep.
Yeah, all of it, except
All of it 2 years.
all of
I
it.
believe
Yeah,
it.
there's a few. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just the
there's a
first
few
20 minutes of it.
there. Right,
Mm.
right.
I was like
Yeah,
that with the remake Blade Runner. The remake of
Yeah.
Blade Runner. That's how I was.
Yeah.
I fell asleep. I couldn't watch it.
I didn't, you know what I've come to find out, and this is what I miss about movie theaters. And this is the truth. I used to, with my daughter and my daughter would want to see a movie with her father, of course.
No, it's
you
not
know,
that long.
And I found out if you eat a good meal, if you eat a decent meal before you go to the movie, whether you like the movie or not, you're going to sleep just because it's dark. Just
Oh, yeah,
because it's dark.
You know what's funny? I did the cheek to cheek thing at the Whitestone Theater after leaving City Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my girl fell asleep in the movie like this, cheek to cheek.
Both drooling at the same time.
After leaving City Island. Now, whose dumb idea was it to eat and then go to the movie?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, we go to the Sabachi place, and that place should actually have a food coma room where you take a nap after you get done eating. I mean, you know.
See, I'd be worried about that. They'd be in there. I'd be worried about them rolling me. Put them to sleep
Yeah,
and then roll them.
Yeah, that's
Go in his pockets.
no. Believe me, at this hibachi place, they already got your money. Okay,
True.
so
Yeah.
Oh, I could
there
tell
isn't
you
a cheap
joke
meal
about
in the
that,
place. Yeah,
about having your money and falling asleep and all of that. After the Christmas party at the job, well, we cut out at lunchtime, right? Around lunchtime, and went to the bar for the Christmas party. Or was it the?
yeah. That's the local
No,
three I
it
know.
wasn't.
Herman.
It wasn't Christmas party. It was just before Thanksgiving. And I got some dumbass idea to go get a massage after that, and fell asleep in the joint.
And then 20 years later,
And
it's
And then the joint got raided, and Herman didn't even know how he got there.
no,
happy ending.
What do you say,
You know how many
Herman?
hours passed? You know how many hours passed while I was laying there for sleep? She was like, "Oh, I don't know. You were drinking." She just left me there. And said I gotta pay for the time I was there. I was like, "Well, how long have I been here?"
And that's before the tip.
It's like, how long have I been here?
Guys,
she
we're
rubbing
coming
her
up.
belly?
We're coming up to the magic hour here. We
Yeah.
haven't done a
we
drop
are,
in a
man.
while.
We are. I'm glad you got a chance to stop on before you start your day out, Tim. Always a
Yeah,
pleasure
thanks
to
for
have
having
you
me.
around,
Thanks for
man.
coming in, Tim. Man.
Good
Seriously,
seeing you
we don't-
again, Tim.
We don't get to
Because I
hang
was
out
like, wait a
much.
minute, he's responding too much to be at work.
Who?
Tim,
Tim, right? Yeah. Or on his way to.
usually he's like, I'm driving, I'm on my way to work, but I'm listening to you guys. And he was
Yeah.
responding to people in the crowd. I'm like, I hope he's not driving and doing that. But
It was
makes
funny.
sense
Every light I stopped at, I would text real quick.
Gotta get that text to speech.
Yeah, you got to get the text to speech. That's what
Yeah.
you do. You get the Bluetooth. Like I don't understand about this Bluetooth, right? If I say sandwich, it puts sandwich. If I say now,
Yeah,
if I
well,
say,
auto. Yeah, the auto.
right, but if I
correct is a
say
killer, man.
sandwich, if I say sandwich, it puts sandwich.
What
That's
the?
the phone.
That's
I can
that's
really
Google.
see what it texts when I say something a little bit like, "Whoa, that's
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say this, so you don't want to do your disclaimer afterwards. Siri's a cunt. Okay, I'm just saying that. That's all. Just saying. Okay. Some of the shit that comes out of her mouth that she thinks I said and I get blamed for. Okay,
Yeah, but
I'm
did
just
you-
saying. She's got an
Did you ever see
agenda.
a picture?
She has an agenda. Okay.
Did you ever see the picture of Siri? She can be whatever she wants to be.
Oh yeah. The voiceover actress. Yeah. The voiceover. There was an episode of Big Bang Theory, I think, where one of them had a relationship with Siri. Right? Was it Sheldon? I think, or one of them.
I didn't.
One of
see
them
that
had a
one.
one
See,
of them
I'm-
had a dream. Oh no! It was Raj when Raj wasn't able to speak to women.
right.
Still
It
can't.
does. He had a
He
drink.
got his first iPhone and he got Siri.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in order to talk to Siri, he had to have a couple of drinks so that he
Yeah.
could talk to Siri.
Right.
But then he had a dream where he had a romantic relationship with Siri. So
Oh my
Okay.
God.
We gotta get out of here, guys.
Yeah. Hey guys, let's get this drop and get out of here.
All right,
Wednesday
ready,
night
Tim?
with those guys are sponsored by
So
guys.
you
Guys, I'd
definitely
like to
need some
thank
more
you.
vitamin B, Tim.
Or some good makeup. I'm telling you.
Yo, thanks for coming in, Tim.
Thank
And of course, Tom and Phantom Flight
Tom.
101.
Tim, thanks for stopping in, hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really
Yeah, it was
appreciate
a
it.
good
I'm
stream.
honored.
good seeing you.
And
bro.
I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for coming in and hanging out with us. And I'll see you next time on Phantom Flight 101 with those guys.
Click.